about the reaction.
Yes, Walaikum salam. I'll adjust it.
Brother Munir was
Walaikum salam.
what is the reaction so far of the Arab people after watching this program, Liqa Ma?
Yes, you should know better.
Yes.
I have received a fax from Tahir from Jordan.
You have.
Yes. And he sent his salam to Hazur. And he said a lot of people start ringing him in his house and asking for literature about Jama'at.
That's right.
There's a lot of demands over there. He asked for some book.
I also received a very encouraging report from Tahir Sahib. He says people I had no idea about, and some who were against the Jamaat, they are now approaching him and want some more information. So inshallah gradually this will go on spreading. Have you finished the translation?
Yes.
Yes,
Fine.
left over. So we were on the subject of Isra, Miraj, etc. And I think for the time being, this answer should be sufficient in regards to what you said. But later on I would like to compare the sources, different sources who have reported about these incidents. Because there is some confusion regarding what happened this time and what happened that time, so I would need time to study from the sources and discuss it after refreshing my memory. Whatever I told you was from my memory, generally what was reported. But I would need some more time to study the sources because there are so many. Some sources belong to a later period. And Khasais al-Kubra has discussed this quite in detail, and some other sources, even up to Bahaqi, have mentioned the same incident differently. So when you collect them without analyzing the sources and assessing the authenticity of various sources, then you will get into great confusion. So it is better for me to first of all categorize them and then pick the very important, the most important authentic traditions from the most authentic books like Bukhari, etc. Then I will be able to give the full picture of what happened and why and when. And then I'll inshallah interpret the whole phenomenon. One thing is, for instance, I can offhand tell you that the old woman shown on the way to Beit al-Maqdis, she was told to be the world, the entire world, by Hazrat Jibreel. Having reached Beit al-Maqdis, there were so many prophets of Allah gathered there. So Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is told to have led them the prayer there in the mosque. And there were prophets from Adam to the time of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There he offered 3 cups according to one report. That was water, wine and milk. And according to another report, he offered 2 cups, one carrying wine and the other milk. So these are the confusions which have to be sorted out, and one should find out which is the more authentic, reliable report. But about the old woman, there is no disagreement regarding the interpretation of Hazrat Jibreel that this woman which you saw on the way is the world. Now the question is, was the entire world compressed into one woman? If it was a vision of the eyes, the material eyes with which you see, then the woman must be taken literally to be the world. particularly what Jibreel said about the woman is very important, which means that that woman must have lived right from the beginning of the time. Because Hazrat Jibreel told Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that this is the world, and whatever age she is left with, as many years as are left from her age, are left from the world, from the age of the world. These ulama should have concentrated on this aspect. It's impossible for this incident to be taken literally. If they insist on literal meaning, then what would they suggest? That that old hag was born 4.5 billion years ago, and she lived dangling in the air without the world having been born as yet. And she came to be born along with the world and continue to remain here on earth somewhere until she grew old along with the whole world. So whatever is left of her age must be left of the age of the world. It's impossible. Do they really believe in this? And have you ever calculated the time occupied by the entire mankind? If not that, they should have at least calculated the time which is told to be the age of religion from the time of Adam till the time of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Only 5,000 years or thereabout passed between Hazrat Adam and Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? If few years, a few hundred years less than 5,000 years, according to my calculations based on the Bible and other sources. And you know, if we convert the entire world, the age of the entire world, which is 4.5 billion, into 24 hours, have you understood what I mean? If 24 hours are supposed to be the representation of 4.5 billion years, the age of the world, that can only happen if we attribute to second many years. Then you multiply the seconds in 24 hours by those many years, that should work out to be the age of the whole world. So that would be an expression in a way that if the world, suppose the whole world lived for 24 hours, what would be the age of the world left now? How much of those we have spent? That can be calculated by by working out the age of each second divided by 4.5 billion. So if you divide first of all multiply the seconds per hour by 24 hours. That will give you a figure. Then divide 4.5 billion by that figure. That will give you the age of each second, right? So I calculated it, and I remember it was around 54 or 58,000 years to each second. If each second had been 54,000 years or thereabout, then the age of the world would be 4.5 billion years. Not otherwise. So if it is 24-hour clock, when was Adam born? After the last second of the age of the earth has started ticking. And at the very last fraction of that second, Adam was born. And that last fraction is not yet finished. It is continuing. So that means that much of the age of the world is left for us. So if they look at the realities of life, and look at them by giving them different angles, watch them from this angle and that angle, then they will realize that the traditions which we study, or the verses of the Holy Quran which we study, must be understood in relation to the creation of Allah, and looked at it with reference to that creation. Then things will emerge which will be very meaningful, which will give a very wise image to the words of the Holy Quran and the Holy Prophet ﷺ. If not, then the problem is that you may continue to believe that it was actually the old hag which was the world, and her age tallied exactly with the age of the world. You may believe, but none of the wise world will ever accept Islam. So you want to believe us in this, and yet you claim that your Prophet takes it away from the darkness into the light. Is that what you mean by taking it away from darkness into the light? If this is what he said, and this is as he understood the world to be, then you are taking us from the light to the darkness. This is the problem why I am emphasizing on this. The ultimate problem would be this. It's not just a question of anybody believing whatever you may, or whatever he may. The question is, if you continue to believe in these extremely stupid things, and yet dare to attribute these things to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, nothing of his wisdom will be left at all. And the people will reject him. People are with any knowledge whatsoever. Your own children will reject him. Your own generations will walk out of this darkness of your minds, which you are attributing to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. For God's sake, be fair with the holiest of holy men and the wisest of the wise men. He speaks of wisdom, and you attribute to him your own darkness confined in your own minds. This is the importance of the issue. That is why I requested you to give me some more time to analyze all the traditions and to prove to you that what was said by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what was experienced by him, was not against the laws of nature created by God. Right?
عرج حضرة أمير المؤمنين على البحث السابق وقال بسبب الاختلاط الحاصل في المصادر الإسلامية حول الحقائق المتعلقة بالإسراء والمعراج، وبسبب الأهمية البالغة المتعلقة بالدقة العلمية والمعرفية لهذا الموضوع، فإنه لا بد لي أيضا من أن أعود إلى المصادر المختلفة بالتحقيق والتعمق بالدراسة والبيان لكي أنعش ذاكرتي حول هذا الموضوع وأقدم لكم وثائق يقينية ثابتة. يقول بعض المصادر حتى المتأخرة منها مثل الخصائص الكبرى والبيهقي قد تحدثتا أيضا عن الاختلاف بين الإسراء والمعراج، وأنهما لم يكونا حادثة واحدة، وأنه لا بد من تحديد النقاط. ثم
They are the sources of the late ages.
Late, it means nearer to us.
Nearer to
Yeah.
us. Very late.
المتأخرة.
So much has got mixed up.
Yes.
That's why I said.
نعم. المصادر الأقرب إلينا بيّنت كذلك، وأيضا قد ورد في البخاري مثل هذا الأمر الذي يبين لماذا وكيف وأين حدثت هذه الأمور. ولكن هناك شيء أحب أن ألفت نظركم إليه، وهو أنه أثناء رحلة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم في إسرائه إلى بيت المقدس تروي الروايات بأنه قد شاهد أو أري امرأة عجوزا، وقال له جبريل عليه السلام بأن هذه العجوز هي الدنيا أو هي العالم.
First of all, he said that don't turn to her, don't take notice of her. continue.
نعم.
Then when they reached Baitul Maqdis,
نعم.
it was there that he explained. Yes.
إذا في بادئ الأمر قال جبريل لسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تأبه لهذه المرأة العجوز ولا تنظر إليها، ولكن عندما وصلا إلى بيت المقدس هناك شرح له عن هذه المرأة. وقيل أيضا بأنه أعطي في بعض الروايات 3 كؤوس ماء وحليب وخمر، وفي روايات أخرى أعطي خمر وحليب فقط، لذلك لابد من التحقيق في هذه الأمور. أما عن هذه المرأة العجوز فقد قال له جبريل بأنها هي الحياة الدنيا أو العالم. وهنا يطرح مولانا أمير المؤمنين السؤال، يقول فكروا بعقولكم، كيف يمكن أن يكون العالم كله منضغطا ومجتمعا في شخص امرأة واحدة؟ وكيف يمكن لهذه المرأة أن تكون قد عاشت منذ بدء الزمان وقبل خلق العالم في مكان ما، معلقة في مكان ما، ثم عاشت مع هذا العالم عندما جاء هذا العالم الذي يقدر عمره ب4.5 بليون سنة. ولو حسبنا في الواقع ذكر أرقام، أنا أؤكد أنكم شعرتم بالخوف وأنتم تسمعون هذه الأرقام، أما أنا فقد كنت خائفا أكثر لأنه كان علي أن أنقلها لكم وأترجمها لكم. المهم محصلة هذه الأرقام يقول أنه بعد أن حسبها وجد بأننا لو اعتبرنا عمر الزمان يقابل 24 ساعة لكان الزمن الذي نحن فيه الآن يقابل الثانية الأخيرة من عمر الزمان الهائل هذا، ولكنا أيضا في آخر هذه الثانية، والوقت المتبقي فقط هو القليل الذي بقي من عمر هذا الزمان. يقول فكروا بشكل علمي ومنطقي في هذه الأمور. كيف يمكن أن تكون هذه المرأة بالمعنى الحرفي هي العالم أو هي الزمان؟ إذا كنتم تفكرون بهذا الأسلوب فإنه لن يقبل أحد منكم إسلامكم، ولن يقبل أحد منكم محمدكم، وبهذا فإنكم تفتنون الناس عن دينهم. وبدلا من أن تسيروا على سنة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم الذي إنما جاء ليخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور بالعلم والمنطق والعقل، فإنكم تعكسون الآية وتنزعون الناس من نور محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ومن نور العقل والمنطق وتغمسونهم في الظلمات، وبهذا لا تكونوا ممثلين لمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا داعين إلى دينه بأي شكل. إذا استمريتم على هذا الإيمان السخيف كيف تجرؤون أن تنسبوه إلى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ أين عقولكم وأين العلم وأين المنطق؟ إذا تابعتم ذلك لن يبقى هناك وجود لمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، ولن تبقى له حكمة، وسيرفضه العالم وسترفضه أجيالكم أيضا، ولكنها سترفضكم أنتم أيضا، لأن الخروج من الظلمات إلى النور أصبح أمرا مرفوضا في هذا الزمن المستنير، ولذلك لن يقبل الناس الإسلام إلا إذا بدا فعلا أنه يتحدث بالعلم والعقل والمنطق وبنور الله الذي يخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور.
Right, fine. Next question, please.
Please allow me, when I was in Hosh Arab, Brother Ahmed al-Buraqi, Abu Khalid, there we used to have many discussions during summer. In one of the discussions, which lasted, he was thinking of a very important idea regarding the personality of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says that he believes God is just. Therefore, for his creation, he has decreed to give them all equal chances to get to his nearness, which meant to him that any of the creatures of God could be, if he behaved like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and gave efforts like him, any man in the world could have the chance to be Muhammad, which meant that Muhammad got the rank of his prophethood, of his maqam, only through his effort and his behavior and this.
You see, this is a very complicated question, and without taking all the aspects into view, it will be suicidal to attempt to solve this.
Yes.
God is just, correct?
Shall I first explain it in Arabic? Or
first in Arabic, please.
Yes.
You're right.
ذكرت لمولانا أمير المؤمنين بأن في مرات كثيرة دار حوار مع الأخ أحمد البراقي من حوش عرب أبو خالد، وكان هذا الأخ يحب التفكر العلمي والمنطقي. بعد أن هداه الله إلى نور الأحمدية صار يفكر بكل الأمور بتدبر وتفكر عميق، وكان هناك حوار طويل في إحدى المرات كان يصر فيه على أن الله سبحانه وتعالى لكونه عادل فإنه قد أعطى الفرصة لجميع مخلوقاته من البشر بأن يحصلوا على القرب منه بفرصة متساوية، وإن كان محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم قد حاز على المقام الأعلى فقد كان هذا لأنه كان هو جديرا بسعيه وجهده وإخلاصه لله عز وجل، واستطاع أن يحصل على هذه المكانة. ولو أن أحدا غير محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم قام بنفس ما قام به محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم لكان استطاع أيضا أن يحصل هذه المرتبة، ولكن لم يستطع أحد أن يحصل مرتبة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم لأن محمدا كان الأسبق.
Now this is a very question. This is a question which requires a much wider study and analysis of the question itself. Otherwise, whatever answer you come out with will be defective, will be misleading, may also be suicidal for you. So I would now begin to explain the basis of the question and the realities which we find from the study of the Holy Quran. First of all, remember, if adl means each person should be created with equal potentials, then what about those who are born blind? What about those who are born deaf, who are born with weak constitution, with befogged mind, born mad, with less potential to concentrate on problems, even with good mind? If they are unhealthy and cannot concentrate on problems properly, yet the mind would not be of any avail to them because they lack energy to work on the same problems. First of all, let's decide, it is justice. Is it justice? Or it lacks justice? Now, the philosophers have taken it up, this question, from their vantage point. They say if there is a God and He is perfect, some philosophers say He should have acted justly to His creation. And because we find no justice in the creation of man, in the creation of animals, etc., and we find such horrible accidents taking place vis-a-vis certain members of each species. One is maimed for life, he is bedridden and he can't enjoy the freedom of life, of movement, of contact, of socializing with others, etc., etc. Some are born without taste. They can eat food and they cannot enjoy. Some are born without the sense of smell. So look at all these things, then answer the question, how could there be a God who claims himself to be just God, yet unequally treating his creation? And then what is the fault of the amoeba to be created to eat the very filth that we dispose of? the filthiest things, they eat and enjoy it, and they don't understand anything around them. They are deprived of eyes, of sight, of hearing, of any quality which the humans take their pride in. And yet you call God a just God. So what is the answer to this? First of all, you must understand the philosophy of justice in the words of the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran presents the world in a completely different scenario. A different plan of things emerges when you study the Quran. First of all, it is the relationship between one's actions and one's rewards, which is directly related to the issue of justice. Not being born differently. Because if Allah had created everything exactly alike, with equal opportunities, remember that the man could not deviate from anything. Such a being, such a creation, who was born with completely equal qualities, mental and physical, with equal opportunities, so that either all suffered together or none suffered, provide them food, etc. equally, then he would not have also provided them with the power to deviate and go astray. If he had provided one the power to go astray, all should have been provided that power. Then all his creation should have gone astray. If he had not provided this power to go astray, he should not have provided that power to anyone. So either all will be born perfect prophets of Allah, or all will be born perfect devils. So if prophets were meant by the creation, if the purpose, the design of creation was to create perfectly obedient servants of Allah, then this is exactly the question raised by angels when they were told that I am going to create Adam.
Yes.
The scheme of things was different. It was not the same scheme of things as people imagine should result from justice. Then why did Allah reject the objection of the angels? Said, you want goodness, obedience, okay, we are here. When have we rebelled against you? When have we done anything short of what you require of us? It is in our nature to obey. You give orders that we obey. We worship you day and night. We extol your name and sing your glory. Where is the need for Adam? So if this objection was right, then angels were wise and Allah was unwise. The angels were just and Allah was unjust. But Allah rejected that plan. What is the alternative? Should He have created all people evil, a new kind of creation which would always rebel against Allah? So what would be the purpose of that? Where will be the reward and where will be the punishment? So the scheme of punishment and reward, you see, crime and punishment, goodness and reward, that scheme has nothing to do with the creation of angels. Angels can't do anything wrong, so why should they be rewarded for what they do? They are born to do things. Like water is created with certain properties. It extinguishes fires. It slakes the human thirst. Is responsible for life. Is water rewarded for all these goodnesses? Kinds of acts of kindness? Never. Why not? Why is water not rewarded? Why man is? Is it just for God not to reward water but to reward human beings? So for God's sake, first understand the question of justice, what it requires and how it becomes applicable to the creation of Allah, then of course we will be able to understand what he should have, the scheme of things which he must have conceived before the creation. Now, if I am a small person, I cannot jump more than a few inches, and a school teacher orders me to jump 6 feet, and if I don't, he punishes me. That will be unjust. If I can jump 3 inches, but do not make effort enough to reach the limit and jump 3 inches, then if he punishes me for not taking into account my capabilities and not exercising enough, he would be justified. Nobody can say he is unjust. But if he doesn't punish me, despite my having failed to jump up to 3 inches, and he punishes a boy not being able to jump beyond 5 feet, will it be just of him? Of course it will be just if that boy has the capability of jumping 6 feet. And he has been telling him to practice, because they have a competition ahead. You say, you can jump physically, you have the power to jump up to 6 feet. Having failed that, you are responsible because you did not take exercise enough. And you are going to bring a bad name to our school in inter-school competitions. So one boy is punished for not being able to jump 5 feet. The other small thing is a little lad in kindergarten maybe. He jumps 3 inches and is a well done boy. Let me reward you. Is it all just? Of course it is just. Under what principle? Under the principle, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wusaha. Laha ma kasabat wa alayha ma kasabat. None will be loaded with responsibility beyond his capacity. The change of capacity is not injustice. To load beyond capacity is injustice. Right? If you don't change capacities, then the world will be a drab, meaningless world. It will be a world of angels who are already there, or a world of iblises who are already there. So why to create anything new? It is a new world order which is created by Allah in human beings, where you have options to do this and to do that. If you do this on the right side, you will be rewarded. If you do that, the credit goes to you for doing good things. The discredit you earn yourself by doing bad things. Capacities may vary, but the principle of justice will never vary. If you are given smaller capacity to memorize things, you will be only judged according to your capacity. If you have a smaller capacity to understand the great deep secrets of Allah's creation and His attributes, then you will be judged according to your capacity. So there is no question of injustice involved in giving one man greater capacity than the other. Why to jump up to the point of Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Why don't you settle the issue first of all at the lower level, where one is born with one eye, the other with blindness, the other without hearing? So first settle the issue of justice here, then we'll turn to the second part. But there is more to be said about it. Please translate. After this, when the time is over, you can tell us. We can take up the remaining translation from there next time. And then it will give me some more minutes to come a bit late, because I'm busy otherwise,
يجيب حضرة أمير المؤمنين على هذا السؤال ويقول بأن هذا السؤال هو سؤال كبير عملاق، والإجابة عليه يخشى أن تكون الإجابة لمن لم يتمكن منه من فهمه ناقصة أو خطيرة أو انتحارية بالنسبة لكم. لأن في هذا قفزة هائلة عملاقة إلى مقام يجب أن تبدأوا في البدايات من بدايات أقل من ذلك بكثير لتدركوا قضية العدل. أولا يقول افهموا قضية العدل. إذا كان العدل يعني التساوي، فإذا ماذا يكون السؤال المتعلق بالعميان أو الصم أو أصحاب العقول المريضة أو المجانين أو الذين لا يملكون إلا قدرات أقل وحتى بالعقول الجيدة، وذلك بسبب مثلا مرضهم أو أحوالهم الصحية أو افتقارهم للطاقة والنشاط. ويطرح هذا السؤال يقول: هل هذا عدل؟ إذا كان الله يجب أن يكون عادلا، وإذا كان ليس هناك عدل في المخلوقات، وإذا كان هناك من يكون مشوها أو ضعيفا، وهناك من يكون محروما مثلا من التذوق، وهناك من يكون محروم من الشم، انظروا إلى جميع هذه الحقائق ثم أجيبوا: كيف يعامل الله العادل خلقه بهذا الشكل؟ ما هو ذنب هذه المخلوقات؟ ما هو مثلا ذنب دودة الأميبيا التي تستمتع بالتغذي على ما تتقزز منه النفس البشرية وتشمئز وتنفر، ومع ذلك نقول إن الله عادل؟ كيف؟ هل فكرتم بهذا؟ افهموا أولا فلسفة العدل في القرآن الكريم. العالم القرآني في مفاهيمه عالم مختلف تماما، ويبين حقائق مختلفة عن هذا المنطق. هنا يتحدث القرآن عن الصلة بين العمل والجزاء وعلاقتها المباشرة مع العدل. من هناك نستطيع أن نفهم قضية العدل، وليس في خلق الأفراد بأشكال مختلفين. لو كان الغرض لو كانت الفرص المتاحة واحدة للجميع، بحيث أن الله قد خلق مخلوقات تتساوى في قدراتها، فعندما تحسن جميعا، عندما تسيء جميعا، أو عندما تعاني جميعها، أو عندما تتوجه إلى الله بالخير تتوجه جميعها، ولو لم يكن قد أعطاهم مثلا القدرة على الانحراف بحيث أنهم لا ينحرفون جميعا ويكونون دائما في حالة الطاعة الكاملة، فهؤلاء أين الجزاء لهم؟ ولماذا يكون الجزاء؟ مثلا لو خلق جميع البشر أنبياء أو كان جميعهم بشكل شياطين، إذن لماذا الجزاء؟ وما هو دور الإنسان ولماذا يخلق؟ لو كانت القضية قضية مخلوقات طائعة كاملة فهناك الملائكة، وهذا ما أثارته الملائكة في حين تحدثت مع الله عز وجل في القرآن الكريم، وقالوا بما معناه: إننا نحن نسبحك ونقدس اسمك ونعبدك ونقدس لك ونعبدك، فما الحاجة إلى خلق الإنسان؟ طبعا الملائكة لم تفهم هذه الحكمة. لو كان رأي الملائكة صائبا لهذا كان يعني بأن الله ما كان عادلا في قراره أن يخلق الإنسان، ولم يكن حكيما. أيضا هي الجزاء والعقاب لا علاقة لها بخلق الملائكة. الملائكة
remaining translation إن شاء الله we'll do it next time.
نتابع إن شاء الله في اللقاء القادم ونحييكم.
You have taken the notes and you're doing a good job, mashallah.
الحمد لله.
بارك الله لكم.
شكرا لكم. نحييكم من المحطة الفضائية للتلفزيون الإسلامي الأحمدي، ونلتقي بكم في اللقاء القادم إن شاء الله. عليكم السلام.